am Crystal with Hatti's Hierophant. I am your tarot reader. And Virgo, I owe you a huge apology. I was meaning to upload your video with the other earth signs and I didn't do it, so please forgive me. If you haven't had a chance to look at your general reading for February 2020, go take a look. Perhaps there's some nuggets in there for you. Otherwise, Virgo, stick around. We are going to be talking about your money, finances, job, career, business, and even for those of you who have a calling to do something else, maybe we'll touch on that too. Maybe we can get something ignited here today. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is your center card. This is going to be the overall energy and all of those things we just mentioned. And that overall energy is the Five of Cups. Now, I am using the Vice Versa Tarot deck for your initial reading before we expand. And they have two different sides, inner, outer, and this and that side. Am I going to confuse the two during your reading? Absolutely. So this is the Five of Cups on that side. And because it's on the backside, so to speak, this makes me think of something you've kind of been thinking about. The overall feeling is that something didn't work out how you thought it was going to be, so you almost gave up. That is the energy of try it again, do it again, and it'll work out for you, okay? So there's no need to be disappointed, right? There's no need to think that you failed in some kind of way, because you didn't. That's how come that red rose is in the background, right? That's one of success, okay? So keep that in the back of your mind for your overall reading. Right now, Virgo, we're going to go into your money, baby. Your money is in your moon energy because let's face it, Virgo, we don't want people knowing how much money you have and how much money you don't have. The first card that's in your money sector is the Knave of Wands, the Knight of Wands, and the Three of Cups. The first message I get is for you Virgos who are spending money like water. Slow down. That's all I keep hearing is like slow down. Okay? Now, the thing with that message, I don't hear like stop spending money, like cut it out. Because some of you Virgos are almost overly conservative. If there's such a thing, but some of you are almost overly conservative with your money. But for those of you who've just been spending a little bit more than you normally do, it's time just to kind of slow your roll and pick and choose the things you need versus your wants. Your wants should not they should not be outspent for your needs. Okay, so it's not horrible. Just bring it back. Now, for those of you Virgos who have invested your money, and I feel like those of you who have invested, perhaps you've invested with a firm or a company that's pretty well known, or maybe with family, maybe with friends. I see that there was a small investment that some of you have made. And initially when you made the investment, you were almost like 3 months later, like, where's my money? Am I a millionaire yet? 3 weeks later, can I quit my job? And you were almost disappointed and didn't understand that investing isn't something immediate. So I feel like that you're starting to understand that it is going to take not only a little while, but a lot of while before you see an actual growth in that. I actually see a golden egg is what I see. And you're proud of yourself. And if you're not proud of yourself, you should be, okay? Aha, there are some of you Virgos that it's like you were just riding along, you're doing what you're supposed to do, you're paying all your bills on time, you're putting a little money in savings, and even though it's a little bit, it was enough to make you feel good about, I'm doing the right thing, until some drama happened. And what I mean by drama is you get a flat tire. You go take it to the shop, not only is it that tire, but all 4 of them need to be changed. So now you have to expense for that. Some extra bill, or maybe it's a family member that needed some money, so now you have to give them this money. So it's like some drama that has been involved with your actual cash flow. Okay, so now let's talk to those of you who are in a job, career, and or business. I have to talk about the job first, and the reason I do, because it is like screaming in my ear. Okay, so I know that some of you, especially based on your general reading from last month, we were in an environment, an uncomfortable one, in which someone was removed. And this is why I think, I tried to do your reading like several times, and I always had issues. And I'm feeling like the reason why it had to wait is because I had to wait for you, Virgo, to not feel guilty about that anymore. And what I feel is not so much guilt. Like I felt like the guilt has gone away. You almost have like a gratitude because now that individual is gone and out of your energy, so to speak. You can see how everyone else is benefiting from it. Like they're happier. People are more productive. People are laughing and smiling. Like you like coming to work now. Your coworkers like coming to work now. You see this new form of respect even with your coworkers. Yeah. And something else, you learned a lesson from this too. The lesson that you learned was, it doesn't matter if they're older, it doesn't matter if they're more experienced, it doesn't matter if they're even in a position of leadership. As far as my superior, you do not have to trust them 100%. You can be subjective, right? And challenge at least the ideas. Like you've come that far. You came away from feeling guilty and feeling bad to, I can see how this individual, now that they're gone, how everyone is benefiting from it, and you won't be so afraid to speak up next time. So you're really grateful for that lesson that you learned. Did I even show you the cards that are in your sun energy? It's the sun card on the inner self. And this is how I know that you've learned from that. And the sun card is the most beautiful card in any deck, vice versa deck, Rider Waite deck, it doesn't matter. It's such a beautiful energy of prosperity. And because that's on the inner side, I feel like you're almost smiling, like you didn't know it could feel this good, okay? I have the Knave of Pentacles along with the Fool card. Now, let's go on. Okay, so we're sticking with job. So the thing with job, right? Because this energy has been removed, you like your job a little bit more and you're able to focus on it a little bit more, which makes you in turn better at it. And that's what this Knave of Pentacles is all about. You see how he's focused on that coin right in front of his hand, right? You've gotten this new laser focus, even though you could have been doing this job for a couple of years, for a decade even. And now all of a sudden you have this laser focus that you never had before, just from that one individual being removed, or at least that energy being removed. Okay. Okay, so to continue with the job, I think some of us have gotten hired to a new job. And that's what this Fool card is all about, right? So some of us are starting with a new job or a new company. And the interesting thing about this energy is you feel like the newbie. I'm the new man on the block. I'm the new girl in the store, right? But even though you're new, it feels like they're a little bit behind in the times on how they're operating. And you're afraid to say anything. And you're almost a little disappointed because that's the reason why you went to work for this company, because you thought they were so innovative and they were so forward thinking. And now that you're actually in the systems and you're doing the job, you're like, oh my gosh, some of these systems are antiquated. And you're wondering if you should say something. And you absolutely should. Because this is the thing about being the new person. Yeah. Okay. So this is the advice. This is the advice for you, for those of you who are on a new job and you're afraid to say anything. Be a superstar first, right? So always be on time. Always be the one who's giving ideas, right? Always look attentive during meetings. And then spring on them these new ideas, because you're going to look like the superstar, right? And you only shine bright in the beginning, baby, right? So that's when you spring on those new ideas, and they for sure, they will be receptive. Okay. For those of you who are in your own business, Yeah, focus a little bit more. Just focus a little bit more on the details. And I almost feel like don't micromanage everyone else. I feel like they're okay. Okay, the people in your business, they're doing what they're supposed to do. As a matter of fact, they want you to back up a little bit. And I hear them saying, worry about you, because you're so worried about us that you're not focusing on your own stuff. And that's what's holding us up. We're doing just fine. Go do what you need to do so we can do our jobs the way we're supposed to do our jobs. Okay. All right. So for those of you who are looking for a calling, looking for that transition, I see it hard. I feel this hard. And I felt this in your general reading. Are some of us in the military? For sure. I just got the chills, so that's 100. So some of us are in the military, and then also in law enforcement and everything in between. Like I see military here, and I see law enforcement here, and then I see like these little subdivisions of other jobs. But mostly when I feel with military and law enforcement, I almost feel like it's generational, right? I almost feel like you're trying to, nope. Some of you really want to do it. It's not a decision. Some of you really want to do it. You've either tried to get into the military and somehow, I don't know, maybe you have asthma or maybe you have a medical condition and you couldn't do it. And that's how come you couldn't get into the military. Or even with the law enforcement, you tried, but you couldn't get in. Yeah. On the other spectrum, I see some of you Virgos wanting to get in the medical field, but more like, I have it written down here, clinical psychology. I feel that like that's like the number one, is clinical psychology. I feel like some of us are being called to that. And there's a reason why some of us are hesitating, and we're going to review that. But before we do, Virgo, I want us to go to the expansion cards within your money sector. Now, expand it on your Knave of Wands. And I got the Two of Wands along with the Queen of Swords. And when it's laying down, it looks just like this, right? The Queen is like, and you know the Queen of Swords, she's not one to be like, can you please just slow down a little bit with your money? Don't spend as much. She's like, what are you doing? Have you lost your mind? Did you really need another pair of Nikes? Right? So I feel like the Queen of Swords is telling you about yourself. Like, stop spending money. We don't have it to spend, right? And it's true, Virgo. If you don't have money in the bank that's saved, that can't be touched, you don't have money to spend. You do not take your account down to zero until the next paycheck. You don't have money to spend unless you already have some saved. And you see how aggressive I just got? Because that's that's the Queen of Swords telling you about yourself. So those of you who are just living your best life, stop it, okay? And you're not horrible. That's the thing. You're not out of control yet. But this is a message to tell you to stop before it gets to that point. Thank you. Okay. So for those of you who have invested, I really do feel like that when we did invest our money, and whatever that means to you, right? Because some of you, it is an institution. Some of you, it's an actual app. And I got this for another sign too. But I feel like for a lot of you, I hear real estate. I feel real estate. So perhaps some of you have invested in some sort of real estate. Listen, this is, you're headed in the right direction, Virgo. As a matter of fact, I think I hear 2 more properties. I don't know, right? I hear 2 more properties. That's what I hear. 2 more pieces of real estate. 2 more. I just keep hearing 2 more. And I feel like that it's gonna happen. Like that's bond. Yeah. I don't like saying, you know, that you're gonna be gifted money, you're gonna win money, or money's gonna come your way and stuff like that, because I mean, by golly, we all want to hear that. But I feel that because I have the 3 of Cups, and you see how look at the cups that are overflowing. They're splashing, right? And you see how, like, there's doves littering the sky. And they're just waiting for more. And this huge waterfall is here. So in the event that we come across enough money, right? Perhaps we can pull money out of that first property, buy 2 more properties. And listen, when I expanded on that night, right, who's all about drama, right? And I mean drama in the sense to where crap is just happening. That was a wake-up call for you to get here, right? Because the energy of this Knight of Wands, right? Drama. Drama's not always bad. Drama is, oh my God, I just got a whole bunch of money. What do I do with it? You invest it and you get 2 more properties. Drama, oh my goodness, I just had to spend all this money on 3 more tires, including the one that went flat, right? Then that means we should have been focusing and stopped spending our money so we had the money to pay for that incident, right? For us to get here. Because honey, even though maybe you only have a few $100s in the bank, but Lordy be, how grateful are you when you have it, when that drama comes up that you have to pay for it, right? Other than you don't have it at all. Yeah. See? Okay. So let's go back to the job, business, career sector. And I expanded on that sun energy, right? See, and I got the Hangman and the 5 of Wands. And, you know, that 5 of Wands is all about, it is a celebration, right? Okay, for those of you who had this individual leave, get kicked out or moved, everybody's almost like, like I feel it like it was that desperate. Like some of you are almost in tears, like, thank God. Thank God. I can get back to my mental peace. It took a little while. It took a little while because some of us had to work in this environment and just get used to it. You had to get used to the aggression, the subtle aggression. You had to get used to the passive aggressiveness. You had to get used to your ideas being used and you not getting credit. You had to get used to overhearing someone else like degrade someone. And this is your boss. This is your leadership. Or this is someone who's older than you and you're just like, I can't say anything. You were almost surrendering to the fact that that's how it was. But no. They're gone, they're gone, they're gone, they're gone, they're gone, they're gone. Oh, I'm happy for you, Virgo, because there's nothing worse than having to work in an environment to where you don't feel good. Because let's face it, sometimes we spend more time with people we work with than our own doggone families. So that has to be sane, right? So bravo. For those of us who are new to the job, and you're like, you know, should I say something? Should I say anything? Right? And you're having anxiety over it because you're like, I'm better than this. And I thought they were better than this. Like, is this the company I work for? Is this the business I'm doing? And oh my goodness, you almost feel like they're just so behind. Yep. Go tell them. Tell them with your new idea and passionately. And you see, he looks like a superstar, right? He's not in some old raggedy taggedy, right? He looks confident. He's confident in what he's doing, what he's looking at on his path. So do that first. That's the suggestion. Be the superstar first. If I can talk, be the superstar first before you start coming up with all these fantastic ideas. And you have plenty, right? Because you have the Magician card. And they're going to listen. This is all about charisma, being creative, and use everything you have to. So yeah, come out of the park. When you do give your ideas, give them all. Don't hold back, right? Yes, this is my idea for marketing. This is how we get to the people who are not on the internet. This is for the people who still read newspapers. This is for the people who listen to the radio, podcasts, right? This is how we're going to reach an audience. YouTube. Give them all the ideas. And document these ideas. Make sure you have them written down as yours. Okay. Hey, just a heads up, Virgo. So once you give out some of these ideas, just know that not all of them will be welcomed at first. This is why you're keeping track. Not only to say that this was my idea, but to also, some of them you're gonna have to revisit like 6 months later, right? Because at first it's gonna be seen as insignificant. And then when things start turning and changing, the powers that be are going to see that and recognize and be like, hey, Virgo, what was that idea again? And then you're able to pull it out. So make sure you, I see like a spreadsheet, but not really. Just make sure it's organized, okay? I just keep hearing focus for you business owners. Focus on your own stuff. That's all I keep. I feel like that the people that are working for you, and I say for you, right? Because this is the thing, when you are a boss, that's how you feel. You like, these people work for me. They work with you, Virgo boss. They work with you. And the more you feel like they work for you, the more you don't see them as equals. And you're making their life like very uncomfortable. And they feel like they can't breathe and they can't be productive and they can't be creative. And they really just want you to get off their back and take care of your own stuff. And let me expand on that, because I feel so much irritation towards that business owner from your from the people that work for you. And they want to do a good job. You just won't let them, and you won't recognize when they do a good job either. It's almost like you expect that. Like, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to do a good job. I need you to do better. Like, that's the energy I'm getting. So they feel defeated. It jumped out at me. So you Virgo business owners, pretty soon they all gonna walk out and be finished with your tomfoolery. Because this is the thing, you have talented people working for you. You have talented people working with you, and you're taking it for granted, and they will walk out. Because I see that some of them are being, courted. Some of them are being courted by some of your friends. Because you're talking so badly about them, how horrible they are. And so those friends are like, last time I checked, and the interaction I had with whomever, they seem pretty sharp to me. So just by listening to you, I'm sure they're unhappy. So let me go snag them up. And they will leave. And they will leave and take all their ideas and leave you in the dust. Don't let this happen, Virgo boss. Okay? I also dropped one. Excuse me. All right. Right? Back up, Virgo. Take a rest. Like, even if you're to the point to where you're too anxious and you're too involved with micromanaging, just take a few days off work at least, just to give them some breathing room. Yep. They want to be able to go to the coffee maker and have a cup of coffee without you peering at them from your desk, right? Just even the feeling of you coming in and they're all working, it like brings this cloud in the office. Or in the environment. Okay? Okay. So for some of you that have been called, right? I also hear, I heard law enforcement, military, and generational, yes. I hear attorney. Are some of you wanting to be an attorney? So for those of you who took the bar, there's some of you who took the bar and you failed it, right? And we already reviewed the military and the law enforcement when we tried, right? We failed it. Not only did we fail it, but we felt like, now what? Because this was my dream. Like, I'm the only one in our generation that just not going to do this. You felt like, where do I go? What do I do now? There's nothing else I wanted to do. We have the Hierophant. And the Hierophant has already pre-written it for you, Virgo. Not to worry. Try again. Try again. You know, yeah, that's 100 because I got the chills on that. So this is the thing. Sometimes we have to fail first right? Do you hear me? Sometimes we have to fail first because there's something about that moment, that feeling, that sting that makes us better than we would have been if we would have succeeded first. And I know at the time it feels like absolute crap. You feel like you're abandoned and you're out in the cold, but you see, there's two people here. It's not you alone. And sometimes it's not another person, it's spirit, because you're so broken and you feel like so awful. That spirit feels that way too. But you see, they're right behind you. They're like, we're not going to leave your side. We are not going to let you give up because it's already written. You're already in that book and the Hierophant has it. Your name is in that book. Try again. And you keep trying, Virgo. You see, because you see that 5, the 6 of Wands, and this is on the inner self. And if you look at the soldiers, they are beaten down. Honey, that's every piece of hope that you've had, the time that you've studied, the money that you spent, the time that you put in is beaten. I see it. But look at the reward. That's you. That's you. And all those things that didn't work out initially are celebrating your success. It's going to happen. Okay, try again. And for those of you who are more in the medical field, clinical psychology, I see science and I see math. I see all of these things that I'm just saying what came to me, okay? And I'm seeing these things for smart people. These are for smart people. And this is what you keep saying to yourself. These are for smart people. Virgo, you're the smart one. It's not everybody else. You're smart too. And this queen right here, she is asking you to just be a little kinder to your inner thoughts, right? You are smart enough, you're bright enough, and some of you are even so detailed to putting yourself down to you're like, I don't even look like a doctor, so I'm not going to do it. I don't talk like a doctor, so I'm not going to do it. If I had a certain look, then I could do it. You know the interesting thing about this Queen of Cups? Yes, she knows love from being a mother and having a child. She knows love of being a wife and having a husband. She knows love of being a lover, right? And being loved. But she also knows that of being a widow. She also knows that heartache of losing a child. She also knows that heartache of being, lost, being forgotten from a lover, being cheated on. I was trying not to say that, but that's what it is. She knows the good, the bad, the yin and the yang in regards to emotion. She knows how it feels to not feel good enough. But she also knows that the only person and the only way to not feel good enough is to do this to yourself. Only you can do that. Because you are smart enough. You do have the look. Some of you are even saying, I don't even have enough time to follow that. You know what? You make time for things that are important to you. And some of you have legitimate reasons. Some of you can say, and no one would argue it. Some of you are in positions to where it's like, no, we understand why you don't do it. You got a lot of stuff going on. So you can pop behind that excuse if you want. You can have people convince you that, yeah, why would you want to do that? Because you can. Try again. Try again, Virgo. You have the Ace of Cups, by golly. You know what? And if you put it out there, that that's what you want to do, someone is going to come and help you. See that? You didn't even see him initially in the dark, did you? Because he's in the dark, waiting for you to believe in yourself enough. As soon as you start making those movements, it's going to be amazing how the universe is going to open up to you. Try again. All right, so, sometimes I get emotional. So I'm going to do one last expansion on this Five of Cups. My Virgo. Yep. This heartbreak, this disappointment that you've been feeling in yourself, this disappointment because you didn't pass the tests initially, right? You got the World card. You had to go through that. It was completely necessary. We were just talking about that. You are going to be better, stronger. It's almost like you needed that lesson. Honey, this is the card of Saturn herself, and she's all about lessons. She walks around in the stars with a belt like, get it together. So you had to get it together. And now you've learned how to balance everything, to retake that test, to study, whatever it is you need to do to go towards that calling, to go towards that predestined. Some of you are destined, and the world needs you to do it. They are waiting for you. Learn how to balance it and just try again, Virgo. All right. You know what? I absolutely adore you. Listen, I'm going to have your March readings uploaded at the end of this month for March. I'm trying so hard. Otherwise, like, share, all that stuff that YouTubers ask. I ask it too. Thank you so much. I absolutely adore you.